Hello, welcome to Fanfiction Theater. I'm Tristan from QuipTracks. With me is Tracy from QuipTracks. I think.
Hello.
Okay,
Yeah.
there he is. Michael D. Bradley from Ice on Mars.
I am hitting record as we speak. Hello.
Good. I gotta start putting sticky notes up here to remind me to do all that stuff as well. Because I really should have. I have to apologize if you to our patrons who are asking for the post-show discussion from Dragon Ball. That's something I never remember to do. We've also got Quinn here from QuipTracks.
Hello.
And Drew Brock from Drawback Productions.
Anybody in the market for a slightly used congressional podium?
Let me just
Price to sell.
Googling how to contact FBI.
Why?
Oh, it's 1-800 call FBI.
Oh, okay.
That's easy.
Just dial down the middle. So we're going to come back with Lost, Miradero Mystery, probably, Ultimate Betrayal, Sweet Revenge, the continuation, written by Michael T. Bradley, and a new prequel fiction centering around Steve Plank, written by Quinn. So we've got a lot to look forward to.
Tristan, do you have it set up so that you can show YouTube videos?
I mean, I would just create a new capture window.
Okay.
But
Probably gonna need that today.
okay.
Tracy's quiet. I thought maybe it was just us, but Kitty just said that in the chat.
Yeah, I just turned him up too. But yeah, I guess you can turn yourself up.
Testing. How about this?
Seems better to me.
That better?
Seems better to me. I will wait for.
Better
We'll just stare weirdly at the screen while.
Waiting for confirmation from chat.
So, this is apropos of absolutely nothing. But I just learned today that I thought for the past 6 years that Chris Cornell was the guitarist of Rage Against the Machine. But he was not.
No, Tom Morello.
Tom Morello. And it's funny because Tristan's louder than everyone. I'll turn my mic down a little bit here.
Quit shouting, Tristan.
I'm sorry.
God.
I'm sorry. So Tom Morello was the guitarist of Rage Against the Machine. No, I just remember there was a Geeks Who Drink pub trivia event that I went to with Tracy and a few other people. And one of the questions was, the answer was Chris Cornell. I don't remember the question. I think it was just they played a Soundgarden song and we were supposed to name the singer. And I was like, oh, I know this because Tracy, you remember you always used to play as this character in Guitar Hero 3 because he was the real person insert and all of the other character models were absolutely hideous. And I was like, I know that's him because he also is in Soundgarden. But it turns out that was also Tom Morello. So I had part of it right and somehow still managed to get that trivia quit. Hello? Mavis is here. Staring me down. Okay, let me get over to...
So was there a point to the story, or was it just...
No. Like I said, apropos of nothing. I just learned that.
Got it.
That was a today I learned.
We're just okay. We're doing the
Tom
show on
Morello
meth tonight, I guess, and nobody told me. All right. Also, I think we should give a special shout out to. It's very confusing now because now Spitfire is Spitfire in the stream chat, but Vampire Jamal over on the other side.
Right.
But both Vampire Jamal and Intrepid Olivia reached level 6, and I know Misha was
That's a
very
big
excited
deal.
about that.
Big deal.
Nice, level 6. You know what that means?
I actually don't. I have no idea.
Well, I don't either because I'm not level 6 yet.
Right.
They know.
I don't understand how it determines someone levels up. It's very
It's
confusing.
just
to me.
number of posts. That's literally it.
All right, you're very showmany now. Very. Looks
The
like.
greatest?
All right, Darkest Before Dawn.
Okay.
Richard could barely feel the paper in his hands. So how was it that it still seemed so damned heavy? How could this one insignificant slip of parchment so starkly represent all of his failures and shortcomings of the past 2 years? Just reading through the last few paragraphs induced physical pain in his chest. With a sigh, he let the cursed paper slip from his fingers and slowly leaned back in his chair. An untouched glass of scotch beckoned him its place on the corner of his desk. In previous days, he would have long since given in to the glass's invitation, but since the passing of the commissioner, the drink had lost many of its previous charms. By the way, everyone remembers who Richard is from Lost, right? Who's seen Lost? I mean, if you haven't
Oh
seen
yeah,
it,
of course. Yeah,
Well,
Richard's that one guy.
He's always got eyeliner on, and he's immortal.
there you go.
And he tells people who's been voted off the island.
Oh, what's it? Nestor Carbonell?
There you
I think
go.
that's his
Yep,
name.
yep,
All right,
yep.
cool. All right. I shall.
He-
Yeah.
He massaged the bridge of his nose for a few more moments before looking up at his executive assistant.
Who's going to be
Is
Richard?
this him talking? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
The final draft is fine, Marcy. Please see that the copy is submitted to my press secretary for the announcement this afternoon.
Of course, Mr. Mayor.
She replied nervously. He could see the barely restrained panic lurking behind her stiffly held posture. But then they had all been in a state of barely restrained panic for the last few days. The hell that madman unleashed on their city for the last week would not afford any of them a good night's sleep anytime soon.
Okay.
This is the secretary.
Oh, so this is the Secretary Marcy, who's... Oh, this is clearly Peanuts, right?
Sir,
Of course, sir. Of course, Mr. Mayor.
No,
You're
no,
at
that's
next
not where we
paragraph.
are.
Also, you're 230.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Also, your 2:30 canceled, but a representative from the Middleos Bioresearch Firm is asking for some time to discuss city grants.
His head snapped up sharply at the old familiar name, and Marcy nearly jumped back at his reaction, hurriedly adding,
I tried to tell him that city funding was largely going to be diverted to disaster relief and that there just wasn't room for in the fiscal budget, but he was very convincing. Insisting that you and he were old friends and that you would want to at least hear his proposal.
It's all right, Marcy.
He held up his hand in a calming gesture.
Sleep.
Oh, that is calming. Thank you.
Please show him in.
The young woman didn't look reassured in the least. But I'm not sure
The
by
gesture
reassured.
didn't work.
I'm not sure why that hyphen is there. It feels like suddenly he was like, is reassured a British word? It was very odd. But she nodded and quickly turned towards the door. Richard rose slowly from his chair, taking the glass of scotch with him. He drifted over towards the window to look out across his city, a city that he had largely failed. He knew it was probably his imagination, but he could swear he still saw a faint smear of blood on the outside of the glass from where the body had been thrown against it 4 days ago. Maintenance had done everything short of replacing the glass afterward.
Dark Knight.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
So this is the body of the Joker guy slammed against the window.
This is the body of the Joker guy.
Yes, minute 32 of the Dark Knight trilogy, extended edition, of course.
I'm lost.
Well, good. Yeah,
He's the
Nestor-
mayor of Gotham for some reason.
yeah, Nestor Carbonell is the actor who plays that character, apparently.
Okay, so he's failed Gotham because he's been on the
Okay.
island for 5 seasons of Lost.
Maybe.
Who wants to be
Uh,
Albert?
No. Richard is Alpert. Richard Alpert. This is Jacob.
Okay. Oh, gotcha.
Oh God. Okay.
Jacob, yeah. A lot of these characters don't really have like interesting like quirks to their speaking styles to grab onto.
Sure.
Yeah.
Make it your own.
Okay.
Just like Heath Ledger did in his performance in The Dark Knight, extended edition, of course.
Do you want to hear a story?
the Snyder cut.
I'm the Joker, baby!
Quinn, could you be Jacob?
Oh, yeah, I can be Jacob.
The line is
All right.
hello, Richard. Yeah.
Hello, Richard.
Alpert didn't even need to look up from the window to confirm his suspicions.
Please be careful with that name, Jacob.
He sighed, finally taking a sip from his glass.
Don't want anybody to call me Dick.
I'm known by another here, and it took a lot of effort to establish this identity.
From the corner of his eye, he saw Jacob approach his desk and reach for that damn slip of paper. Richard felt an almost irrational desire to snatch it from him and hide the condemning document in his desk. Instead, he took another pull from his glass, draining it.
Your official resignation from the office of mayor.
It's like if Lost were a Powerpuff Girls cartoon. That's how I see Jacob. Your interpretation of Jacob.
Yeah.
How he can make that statement sound like a question and an accusation at the same time was beyond Richard. He had observed the man for hundreds of years, and he still remained a mystery to him most days. He irritably walked to his liquor cabinet and began pouring another scotch.
Whatever I thought I could accomplish here. Well, I failed, and I need to make way for someone who can pick up the pieces.
Will you return to the island?
Dun dun dun! Richard continued to stare into his glass, strangely unable to meet Jacob's gaze.
Yes. I've heard there has been some activity in Tunisia again. Events are in motion, and I need to be there to make certain everything is ready.
Jacob nodded in understanding.
I have a task for you to perform before you return.
Of course.
Even now, he spoke the words without hesitation.
I fear that our wayward disciple had descended to actions of which I had hoped he was incapable.
Richard felt his
Hads in that.
That's a lot. That was hard to say. I don't know why.
Richard felt his brow. Richard felt his brow creasing in confusion. Surely he couldn't be speaking about
Card key. I was under the impression that he had been dead for almost a year, dealt with by our local friend.
Jacob shook his head sadly.
The demon's head meets his fate at the hands of very symbol he helped create. Poetic, perhaps, but even death itself would prove only a minor obstacle while he still has the full support of my brother.
Jacob sighed.
And he had been building temples, perverting the gift of the waters of life.
Richard felt his legs grow weak at the implications. He sat in his chair heavily, almost spilling his drink.
But how?
Jacob waved his hand.
Yes, not important. What is important is that I have located one of his temples with one of his corrupted pools.
Huh.
He laid a thick beige folder on Richard's desk next to the letter.
Some people like
And-
vanilla. I prefer beige.
Beige. It's my color. And I need you to destroy it for me.
Intrepid Olivia asks, "What temples are these again?" I think that's a lost thing, and like
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
It
vaguely
almost sounds
remember
like
like
Ra's al
some
Ghul.
glowing pool.
Yeah. It's
There were more than one, though, were there? I thought there was just one pool of life.
well, we saw one. I guess in this there are more that
These
are
are
hidden. But yeah,
perverted ones.
right. So it's
The island, spoilers, the island contains the source of all life.
right. But so what he's doing here, which like I haven't seen those Batman. I've only seen the first 2 Batman movies, and I haven't seen him in so long, and I didn't like him that I don't remember much about him. But I guess Ra's al Ghul has the Lazarus pits in it, where you can and so what he's saying is that the water on the island that's the secret to all life, the Lazarus pits are that water. Like Ra's al Ghul is using that water. He took some and made some Lazarus pits out of it.
That's a kind of cool connection. I can get behind that. I can get behind that crossover.
All right. Did Richard say I
Especially if it's a
understand?
perverted pool.
There's
Make her look like a whore.
Brett Kavanaugh and Clarence Thomas have like weekly pool parties in it.
Okay, Spitfire is saying the Lazarus pits didn't show up in the movies.
Didn't they?
The Lazarus
I have
pit
no idea,
is
man.
where Bane is, right?
What's
It's
that?
part of the Arrowverse.
Sure, but
No,
this was written long ago.
Bane was born in the Lazarus pit, right? Isn't in the third movie? Doesn't Bruce Wayne climb
It's
out of the
definitely a
Lazarus pit?
You think darkness is your ally?
See, I thought this was based on the third movie because it starts off with him saying he hasn't like seen them for like a year and thinks he's dead. I think he's talking about Batman, right?
Sure.
It could be
it's
like
all very
anyone,
cryptic.
Anyone from Lost could have.
But oh well, maybe we'll figure out as we go along here.
Okay.
Richard, just
Uh,
understand already so we can move the hell on.
I understand.
Richard hesitated. He didn't really understand. He rarely questioned Jacob's decisions, even the more outlandish requests. But as he flipped open the folder, the beige folder, and began perusing its contents, he couldn't help but ask,
Pardon me for saying, but wouldn't our local friend be more suited to this kind of task? He's already shown himself more than capable of dealing with D, if you know what I mean.
We're talking 5Ds here.
I am afraid he is unavailable.
Jacob cut him off. He shifted on his feet, and for some reason I was just like, okay, I had one sentence, I'm done. He shifted on his feet, and Richard was amazed to realize that Jacob actually looked uncomfortable.
He is currently staring into the abyss, trying to understand it.
Jacob wearily sat down across from him.
I fear this obsession will soon provide my brother with the means to strike out in vengeance for the loss of his own disciple.
A
A
heavy
heavy
sigh.
silence settled across Richard's office.
Go for it. Yeah. For the last
For the last
now we
Go
fight.
ahead.
For the last few years, since he had been arrived in this city and run for mayor, he and Jacob had been avoiding the elephant in the room, and Richard found that he was tired of avoidance.
Is that a Batman villain? The elephant? Is he in there?
Yeah, I think that's in the cave with the giant penny and the dinosaur.
Intrepid Olivia says, had been is the drinking game for this fic. Why? Okay, wait.
Why?
Hold on. For that? All right, whatever.
Who's saying this?
I think this is Richard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's Dick.
Why does he not recognize me?
Jacob's polite yet intense gaze was not enough to deter him.
How do you gaze politely yet intently or intensely?
This is how.
All right. There it is.
It's gonna freeze on me in that position now.
The captain that dogged us for weeks until you brought the Black Rock to the island. It was not simply a odd resemblance. They are one and the same man. They wear the symbol, yet he did not recognize me, either now or then. Why?
Another silence
Wait,
settled
I
over.
think that was
I
supposed
think that's
to
a
be
Richard
me.
line. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. We'll just move on.
Yeah. Another silence settled over the room, and Richard was convinced that once again Jacob was simply going to ignore his question. He growled in frustration and returned to the window and his view of his broken city. Okay, so the phrase was barely a whisper that he had to strain his ears to hear. For the first time. For the first time in over 100 years, he felt his frustration actually boiling into anger. He turned on Jacob.
You've said that before, but you never tell me what it means. How does that explain how he was there hundreds of years ago and here now?
Jacob smiled, that old, soft, disarming smile that still calmed Richard down in spite of himself.
I never tell you because its true meaning is hidden even from me. Though that fact will not stop my brother from using it against him.
Jacob
Maybe,
stood.
depending on what it means and
Him
does.
himself?
Jacob stood and began walking towards the door.
Is this me?
I assume it's Jacob since that's
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. I'm just a little gun shy since I read a Tristan.
Right.
I feel bad. All right.
Maybe we should let Tristan read a U line just to even it out.
I just know that it will be important to him, that as he faces each life turning darker and more hopeless than the last, as he fights his way across history itself to regain what gods and devils would strip from him, it is important.
Jacob stopped at the door and looked back one last time. Jacob's like going one step at a time. I mean, this office can't be that big.
He's giving him a PowerPoint presentation on.
But for now, he stares into the abyss, and my brother awaits. Destroy the temple and meet me at the island.
And then he was gone. Richard turned to stare back out at his city, the same city he would abandon this evening. He finishes his second and final scotch. A man he had called friend had assured them that the dawn was coming, and perhaps he was right. But Richard would not stay to see it arrive.
I'm not sure why Richard thought that he would have time to be the mayor of Gotham. In addition to his hundreds of years of service on the island.
Well, you know, a lot of his years were pretty kind of dull, right? I mean, a lot of it was just him kind of like, yeah, you guys did a good job making boar
like
tonight, you know?
And I mean, Gotham's a shithole. I mean, like, it's an easy job.
It does seem like he wasn't really looking at the long term.
So,
This is the reason Gotham is in shambles, is because he's never here.
yeah.
The press is looking to the mayor for his statement about the terrors that have hit Gotham. He's gone again.
I would assume this takes some place sometime after the Dark Knight and before the Dark Knight Rises. I don't know.
I
the
believe
blood stain is still there from when the guy hit the window in Dark Knight.
It's Gotham. They don't give a
They
shit.
just left it there.
maybe
They said
the window
maintenance did everything shy of replacing the window.
Maybe the maintenance guys are from the island too. Like Tom's one of the maintenance guys, you know.
Yeah, yeah. He
They just
just
turn
had
that
especially
wheel and
sticky
fix it, or-
blood, that guy.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I have
Oh,
a
go
lot
ahead.
of questions. I'm sure we don't have many answers. The
Oh my
local
God.
friend, is that Batman?
I
I
believe
would-
so.
I would assume, yeah.
And he's the one staring into the abyss.
Yeah.
So
See, that's why I was thinking it takes place sometime in between Dark Knight and Dark
Right,
Knight Rises,
right.
because that's when he gets
Oh.
tossed into the pit by Bane.
Who's D?
We
Um,
don't talk
Embrace
about
it.
him in polite company.
more than capable of dealing with.
Could he have
He's
meant
unavailable. He's staring into the abyss.
Maybe he
Bruce
meant
Wayne doesn't work. Batman doesn't work.
maybe he meant Demon's Head. Maybe that's what he was gonna say.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, because that's the only thing that Batman would have dealt with at that point, right?
Who's Demon's Head?
Ra's al Ghul. That's what Ra's al Ghul means.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
right.
I like how you're like, oh, Demon Head. And what is Demon Head?
I assume that was intentional, but and if so, well played.
I
But yeah,
liked it either way.
and then I'm not going to explain Zur-Anar. If you don't know Zur-Anar, read Grant Morrison's run on Batman.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically the danger here is that the Man in Black is going to take over Batman's body
I think so.
and be really, really bad on the island. Batman is going to start kicking ass on the island in the 5th season of Lost.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Which, admittedly, I'd watch that. I'd watch the hell out of that.
I still hate that anything uses Man in Black, because I always immediately think of Johnny Cash.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I just imagine Johnny Cash in whatever role.
Poor Titus Welliver.
Spitfire
Okay.
says D
Okay.
for Dent.
Oh, maybe had he taken care of Dent for the mayor?
He like pushed him off a building or whatever.
I wonder if
Very
his local friend was dead.
Maybe it was Dent, and
Well, I
they're
mean, if
talking
so, he was
about
dead.
the maintenance man who just cannot seem to clean up a body.
Yeah.
He's like, he helped us with
Difficult
he really didn't go
stains.
good.
That's what he was gonna say.
All right. Okay. Are we? It's.
Yeah,
I don't want to
let's
leave
move on.
any questions unanswered here. This one I had to ask the author about again, because I was like, I don't know what the hell this is, and I don't know if anybody's gonna catch on or not, but and so I don't know how to like give you any
Clues.
like hints on how to read the
Yeah.
characters in this. All right,
Okay,
season
gotcha.
6. All of this has happened before. Oceanic 815 had arrived a little over an hour ago, and the airport was still buzzing with the additional foot traffic that an international flight typically brings. This flight in particular had borne with it more intrigue than most, and anyone who cared enough to glance up from their own personal detachment would find no fewer than 4 separate compelling human dramas playing out in that very moment. The being who had come to think of himself as simply the messenger grinned smugly as he took a deep puff from his ever-present cigar. He stretched languidly on an airport bench while expelling the sweet smoke from his lungs before turning casually to his ever-present companion.
The cigar? Is the cigar his companion?
No, I know. I
No.
know that you said repeating a complex system often enough would yield surprising results. But I have to admit, this turn of events was truly unexpected.
The tall blonde woman leveled a dark glare at him before responding.
Gloating doesn't become you.
Now there's no need to pout. We still have to see how this plays out. Humanity could yet prove your faith in them founded.
The messenger practically leaped from his perch as a familiar figure caught his attention.
Is he a parrot? Look at it this way. How often will we be afforded the opportunity to watch people literally relive their past mistakes? There is great scientific value in each observation.
The taller woman's face grew cold.
I find no value in watching people repeat their mistakes.
Think of it as the ultimate closed system experiment.
He impulsively grabbed her and drew her down the hallway until they had arrived at the missing luggage section of Oceanic.
Take our present subject, for example. John.
He could see that she wanted to protest already, but did not give her the chance.
In this life, he has the love of a woman, the respect of his father, a greater standing in his community. And he's standing, get it? Oh, no.
It's kind of a sad joke.
Because of the, yeah.
She's about to make that joke.
Oh, gotcha. He is still in the chair.
She responded quickly. He made a slightly exasperated sound.
Surely we can agree that his existence is measurably improved in this iteration. Yet, despite these obvious advantages, he still feels consumed by the need to seek out a greater meaning for his life. He still feels compelled to distill some greater destiny from the cross-section of humanity that is his world, and he still rails against fate for telling him what he can't do.
He felt that he almost had her now, but he should have expected her stubborn streak.
You can't reach any meaningful conclusion by limiting your experiment on one case study.
He was
Just
about
watch
to
Lost. It's good.
He was about to retort when his eyes caught the outline of yet another familiar individual.
Very well. Let us expand our observation.
He just I always get ready to talk, but now, like, when you get near the end, I always kind of wait, because I'm like, is he going to start the cough joke again? I don't know. I might need to wait.
I think the cop joke's over.
All right.
I think that's it.
He gestured grandly to Jack Shepard, who was currently involved in an animated conversation on his phone. Once
Jack?
again...
Why would I do that? That's what he's doing.
Yep.
I'm looking for my father. Once again, she opened her mouth to protest before he overrode her.
In this life, he is perpetuating the same insecurities that destroyed his first marriage and his potential relationship with Miss Austen. Only now, he is visiting those same insecurities upon his son, effectively continuing the same vicious cycle that he's shared with his own father. Man, this
Beautiful.
season's good. Just watch Lost.
He smirked at his companion's stony gaze.
Truly, the sins of the fathers are visited upon their children. Cough, cough, cough.
Hey, thank you, Anonymous, for tipping 420.
Nice.
Are you quite done?
Oh, come now. We've barely even started.
Well then, I could point out the countless... point out the
Yep,
countless
that's
of
what it
lives
says.
that will change for the better because various individuals choose not to revisit their past mistakes.
Now it was her turn to forestall him as he attempted to reply.
As you seem to wish to make these two the focal point of your initial observation, why don't we wait and see how this particular meeting between the two plays out before reaching any final judgments?
You're
The
kind of
message-
rotating between German and Russian there. It's pretty great.
A little bit of French, a little bit of
A
Russian.
little bit of French.
Yeah,
It's a
Yeah,
globe
it's-
hopping.
World traveler.
it's a like Mata Hari, a
Accent.
European Mata Hari character.
Yeah.
The messenger gave another exasperated sigh.
Ugh. After all our time together, I thought your newly developed optimism would prove a refreshing change.
Are you saying that it does not?
He shook his head sadly.
After all we have seen, everything we have experienced, I just can't seem to get my mind around your sense of hope. I mean, look at them!
He gestured towards the two men who now seemed to be involved in a discussion regarding their mutually lost luggage. Her expression changed to one of genuine curiosity.
Do you think that they can sense that this is not their first meeting, despite what their memory tells them?
It's hard to say.
He conceded while lighting another cigar. Though I don't think he ever put out his first one, so
Yeah.
He's double fisting
It's
it.
a second one.
Yeah.
They've unleashed Pandora's box. Even we can't see the extent of the possibilities they have created.
Considering the uncertainty we face, you seem awfully quick to reach your typically fatalistic conclusions.
The messenger simply shrugged. True, he was dealing with a great deal of unknowns at the given moment, yet there was something significant to this scene before them, this innocuous meeting between two strangers, something that brushed against his mind like the fading remnant of a dream from long ago. A juxtaposition of thousands of lives and events that were simultaneously familiar and wildly out of place defied his ability to reconcile them with his own memory. It gave him the most unsettling feeling that nothing, not even this very moment, was set in stone. Reality stretched before them as simply another vague possibility in an endless wave function of possibilities. God would play his dice with the universe and, sooner or later, it all had to collapse.
I wonder if this ever truly happened.
He said without really thinking. The blonde woman gave him a surprised look. He held her gaze for a moment before shaking his head and smiling. He waved his hand dismissively and turned his attention back to their two subjects. Shepard was handing John a business card and talking about a free consultation. John smiled politely as he graciously accepted the offer. The messenger felt his brow crease in confusion. This was not the way he had expected this particular confrontation to conclude. His companion was smiling triumphantly.
Nothing is irreversible. Do those sound like the words of a man destined to repeat his mistakes?
He shrugged.
So that was a
We'll have to
period
wait.
there. That was to... Do those sound
Yeah.
like the words of a man destined to repeat his mistakes?
He shrugged. He still shrugged, I don't care.
We'll have to wait to see if his actions are consistent with his words.
She was going to be insufferable now.
Ugh.
Face it, God's plan accommodates for human nobility far more than you do.
He
Oh my
sighed-
gosh, I know what this is.
Okay, well,
Highway to Heaven.
See, I was
I
thinking
know.
it was left
Church of
behind.
God on Highway to Heaven.
Hold
We
on.
call him the
Before,
boss.
wait, we have one short paragraph before we go to the crazy theories. He
Yeah,
sighed
yeah.
one final time, wrapping his arm around her waist.
You know he doesn't like that name.
He prefers the boss.
Oh, the boss. Okay, I see.
Is it Lucifer?
Keep in mind, this was written a decade ago.
Then no, it wasn't. You
Supernatural.
could have just fucking said that, dude.
Well, I'm trying to be helpful. Think of what was.
Don't tell me
going-
why I'm wrong. I'm not here to learn. Shut me down coldly and quickly.
Let's see. Were there any guesses in the chat?
Intrepid Olivia said BSG.
Oh, it might be because it is BSG. So there you go.
What does that stand for?
Battlestar
Battlestar
Galactica.
Galactica.
Okay.
Yay, I
Okay.
figured it out.
Huh.
Me and this fanfic have one thing in common. We are both lost.
Oh
Crazy show, and I don't know what they're talking about. I mean, and I love that he's basing a fanfic on what was basically 3 seasons of writers just spinning their wheels, running out the clock. Why? Why do this?
Okay,
Why?
I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that, and we're gonna move on.
Yeah, Lost is one of my favorite series ever. So
Okay, but oh boy, they were tied up though.
Nothing wrong with being tied up.
Here's what I'll say. J.J. Abrams' mystery box only can contain disappointment, and that's on him because he never had an idea.
Right.
At the end of it, I was, I stuck with it for 6 years. It mattered to me.
Yeah.
I probably cried watching
the way you're
finale,
presenting
honestly.
it sounds like more of a sunk cost fallacy, but
But as it grows distant in my mind, I dislike it more and more. I get mad.
Well, but I mean, look, the characters and the situations, for the
it had
most
a lot
part,
of good characters.
were very compelling.
Season 1 was awesome.
Had a
And
lot
it
of
was
great
very
music.
fun to try to figure out what the hell is going on, even if very little was
Mhm.
going on.
I don't know. I reread my review of it recently, and I don't think
that's
it's
right.
as cool as I thought it was originally. But if somebody else wants to read my review of it, then feel free.
How do we get to that?
At the very top, it's got a reviews. I think it's
Okay,
5, and then it's a clickable link.
Eyes on Mars. Well, let's read Sarah Willow first. Scratch
Okay.
his head. It was well written and I found it entertaining. I was only confused for most of it, which is better than I was expecting. All right, Eyes on Mars. My best friend, a filmmaker, often said that a movie's job was to entertain you and not make you question it for the 90 to 120 minutes you sat through it. For instance, Face/Off is a film that is decidedly enjoyable for its run.
Decently enjoyable.
Right,
He's in a
decently.
groove. Just let him go.
I'm not
Though
letting him
about-
put words in your mouth.
And it's decidedly enjoyable. I'm sorry.
Though about
Very
5 minutes after
soft.
leaving the theater, you might be already starting to go, wait a minute. But that's not important. It's done your job.
I meant it's done its job.
It's done your job. Taking your promotion. You are done.
It took your job.
And that's what's going to happen, God damn it, if we keep letting these immigrants in.
This story practically takes that theory, mostly eschewed by modern fans and critics. This practice kind of got lost after the advent of VHS/beta tapes and the ability to rewatch and criticize works at will. The idea of a must-entertain while in theater film has been replaced by the background effects film, and it makes it a thesis in fictional form, stating, if I'm not incorrect, that any of these interpretations of fanfic crossover, nay, possibly any fanfic crossover is as real as anything else for the time it's being observed, therefore making it possible to thoroughly enjoy, say, Harry Potter's Hermione and Torchwood's Abaddon have dirty, filthy sex games in which she often screams, "Call me a mudblood," without in any way impinging on the respective realities of each series, but also not in any way lessening their own reality.
Thanks, VHS beta tape.
Dude, what were you on?
Speaking of Torchwood, this also reminds me of the idea I had for how to do a decent season 2 Torchwood while keeping.
Your own fic, Michael.
Sir, this is not the place for that.
Sir, this
You
is
got
a
your
Wendy's.
fanfic in my comments.
While keeping most of the quote-unquote big ideas from the broadcast one. Now, I have multiple people who say they've replaced that version of events with the actual version, holding it in their head that they happened rather than what was broadcast. And what's wrong with that? God damn you people!
You called me mad.
I picture myself in a smoking jacket, like with a bottle, with like a snifter, just angrily yelling at a camera, Harry.
Don't most of us discard or hold on to particular rewrites / retcons in our favorite comics / TV shows depending on what we'd rather like? How many fans of the X-Files were there who desperately shipped Mulder Scully and who swooned during the flashbacks in Season 8 and screamed, "Thank you, finally!" versus those who virulently hated the idea and essentially wrote it out since it was in general not particularly necessary to the plot. And yet both were able to enjoy the show equally for the most part. In a similar way, many fans hated Grant Morrison's run on X-Men. But thankfully, after he was gone, nobody really mentioned any of his plots again, except Joss Whedon. So if you don't like it, you didn't really have to care much. I'll admit, I didn't 100% get all of the snippets in here because I haven't watched / read / played all of the references, but still, I enjoyed the central thesis, which I believe comes down to: if God does play dice with the universe, if all our experiences are so specific to our own interpretation of things to the extent that every event ever is random in its interpretation, even if not in its empirical existence, then why can't fiction be the same way?
Here, here.
Who's that? Fate? What is?
This man's words have moved me. And I vote in favor of striking down copyright law.
What makes one interpretation of events any more or less real than another? As long as you can believe it while it's flashing before your eyes, isn't that the most we can say of any experience?
He's right.
All right.
What is real?
I'll have whatever he's having.
Almost a good Matt Berry, you say? Yeah, it's not quite there.
I thought at first you were going for Orson Welles, but it kind of went way different than that. There.
Yeah.
And Spitfire said almost exactly the same thing that I said. He said, I assume Michael had on a jacket with elbow patches and smoking a pipe while writing this.
Yes. Exactly.
You're a
how
sick
in-depth
man,
it is.
Morgan Lewis, but you may also be a genius.
I love the in-depthness of Michael's review versus all the others that are just like half a line.
And why not? I ask you, I implore you.
And above it is just like a great seller, A++, fast shipping. They meant to do eBay.
Okay.
Woo.
Are we ready to move into
That was awesome.
Ultimate Betrayal?
Oh yeah, we are.
Or do we want to do at least a chapter on Miradero? I'm good either way. I figure Miradero is usually fairly
You
short,
always
right?
undermine me when I try to pick the next thing.
I just, it's like the pals, we gotta have faith with the pals.
There are pals.
You just face it. You hate the pals. You always try to skip the pals.
Sorry.
Intrepid Olivia votes for Ultimate Betrayal, Sweet Revenge.
Okay. I also definitely want to get to the Steve Plank one.
Oh, it's actually written? Okay. All right.
Oh,
One
yes.
chapter.
I wrote the first
Now,
chapter.
hold on a minute. I implore you. Have Faith Grayson's move is a pivotal chapter. I think that it will be. I think that it'll be funny. This is the chapter that the reason I wanted to do this fic at all.
Look, we're definitely going to read all of this. I want to make that clear. We're not putting any of these through the shredder.
Okay. I was just excited.
We got to vote for UBSR. We'll read one chapter. And I believe
All right.
I actually made a command for this. Yeah, so there's the link.
Hey,
So
We're
wait,
on
what's the
chapter
command?
3.
it's in the
Exclamation
stream
point
chat.
UBSR, and then in the stream chat, it posts the link
Okay.
to the current chat.
So 2 quick things before we start this. I don't know if it shows up here or not, but it's I did edit in there, but I just wanted to assure everyone that it's just because fanfic got rid of my line breaks for section breaks.
I do see your periods.
Yeah, and so
They are numerous and plentiful.
so I just wanted to point that out because I don't think we'll hit it this week, but there are things that I have that have been said in the chat so far that
Gotcha.
will possibly either bear out, or you'll think like, oh, that's in response to what I said. It's done. Like it is, it was
all
done
written
before.
when we started. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did not change anything in that way. Also, I have a list of who's playing who so far because I figured I would keep track of that.
Thank you.
But I forgot who I was.
Yeah, okay.
I remember
This is
being Mr. Johnson.
Yeah.
Ah, great.
And
I'm Ash, but not Junko.
That's right. I do not think Tracy would appreciate some of the things that Junko says. They rely heavily on Steve Plank's view of the universe, and I know that that's not. Quinn, you were the necromancer aide to Mr. Johnson, and you were also Mr. Davis.
Didn't he get his head blown off?
In the present, or in 1 month ago,
We're
10
going
days ago.
backwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he might. Wait, Mr. Davis. Yeah. Mr. Davis is almost certainly going to show up some more.
Okay.
Jesse was playing Misty. Is Jesse around still, or? That was.
Oh, sorry. I was reading. Yes, Jesse's here. Do you want to? Okay. Now, what's her?
She's Misty.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then I am Damien, and I remembered the other character I wanted to play, Makoto Naegi. And Tristan is Tyler, and the narrator. And Kevin, who's at least in the chat. Kevin, are you in here in the thing with us? No, are you coming? Kevin was Vampire Jamal.
Okay.
Okay. Shit. Tracy, you were reading ahead. Does Vampire Jamal have? Does he speak in this section?
I wasn't looking for that.
Got it. Yes, he does speak. So Kevin, if you don't mind coming on Discord, that would be great.
I'm just gonna dive in here though.
Okay.
Chapter 19. Sorry, you said I was also what, Tyler? Or...
Yes.
Tyler. Yes.
Do you remember what voice I gave him?
Yeah, it was like this screechy, reedy voice. It was like, well, we
I
can go
remember.
up to
I
the water
remember.
hole. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Chapter 19.
Okay, I'm on.
Cool.
Yay.
The present. The gift. The necromancer aide to Mr. Johnson whispered to him as they approached the field.
I'm starting to feel more and more certain these teenagers are up to something.
Mr. Johnson smirked.
I'm sure you're just picking up on their anxiety, which you yourself are feeding.
He replied.
The plan proceeds on schedule. We are doing fine.
The aide looked skeptical, but nodded. Mr. Johnson stopped with the crowd of survivors that made up the Shadow Pokemon Corps 100 feet or so into the center of the field. The darkness above them pulsed, but extremely slowly, at a heart kept in cryogenic stasis. He could tell that Ash especially was making a conscious effort not to look up. A loud beeping sound cut through the tense silence as an Akabo, as a brand, as an Akaboo moving truck backed up near where they were. Mr. Johnson couldn't help smile at the logo, which at least somewhat resembled a Pokeball. Once the truck had stopped, Mr. Johnson gave the group an unctuous smile.
Now for the main attraction.
He whispered.
Now for the main attraction.
6 to 3 months ago. We don't know for sure.
Sometime in
Refrigerate
that-
after opening.
There, I posted in the chat a link to the first thing on the page is a picture of the Akaboo moving truck logo.
Okay, yeah. You can see it at least somewhat resembles a Pokeball.
In that it's a ball.
Yeah.
It
And the
is
actual-
round.
There probably is a canon Pokemon moving service.
Yeah, but it's Machokes.
Yeah, there are a bunch of Machokes that they just
Yeah.
hired to carry things
But
around.
do they go like long distance? Just
Well, I think I think someone drives a truck, but
yeah.
then the
So if you-
Machokes just move stuff out.
All
If
right.
you
Can
had
they
a
drive? Did
Pokemon,
they get the right to drive yet?
if you had a Pokeball with a Pokemon, handed it to a Machoke, and then put the Machoke in the ball, how deep can you go? How many levels?
I don't know.
That
I do,
That's a
You
sick
You get down to
experiment
the
that
lime
you'll
and
have
then the
to-
coconut inside of that.
The lime in the coconut.
Yeah.
Okay, 6 to 3 months ago. Misty sometimes felt like her life had turned into some sort of strange, pointless montage to build up to Act 3 in a stupid action movie.
Well, thanks for giving us your inspiration.
Most of her morning
Eye
started.
of the tiger. Oh,
Most of her morning started with her staring at a line of her Pokemon Shadow Core.
or Shadow Pokemon Core, whichever.
Shadow Pokemon Core.
we provide the words. You
Okay.
assemble. It's the IKEA of fanfic.
Morning
They-
should have an S
they
at the end of
line
it if that's what's confusing you there. No? Okay.
All right. Okay. Whatever.
It's a
They're all
line of
standing in a
people.
line. That's what.
Yes. Yeah.
At a line of her Shadow Pokemon Core. Brock, Damien, with Junko Enoshima always close by. Jade, Tyler, Akane Awari, Anige Yonaga, Kyoko Kirigiri, Makoto Naegi, Mahiro Koizumi, Maki Harakawa, Mikan Sumiki, Misaki Asano, Vampire Jamal, and Ash. Always Ash, even in his strange new state. Hell, she could even tell most of them apart now. Ash and Vampire Jamal had become their lead melee fighters, Ash with his fearless sword wielding, and Vampire Jamal with his natural talents. Jade was still their coordinator, able to tell when they were about to be attacked with much more specificity now. Mikani
Keeps the
Asano.
day timer of all the times they're going to be attacked.
Yeah,
I can just
yeah.
check ahead.
Misaki Asano had joined Brock on the heavy weapons / rear support team. She was the only woman from the newer recruits who didn't have long wavy hair, so Misty supposed it made sense that she'd be the one who took up a flamethrower.
What?
I don't have hairnets.
Those things are not
There's no
completely
crunchies in
unrelated.
the world without
well,
scrunchies.
because
Like everybody has their
because-
special hairstyles, and nobody wants to like put it under or tie it up. Anything they got to be free.
safety
The anime artists hate that. Yeah.
They're not saying is she used to have long wavy hair.
Right.
She's got an extensive backstory, I'm sure.
It
It's
takes care
just
of
a burnt
itself, that
lump
problem.
now.
Yeah.
Mr. Davis didn't join them as much anymore. He simply encouraged them to watch a lot of Buffy and X-Files. As he said, most of their database was based off analysts watching those shows and compiling stat blocks from them anyway. Damien had asked about Supernatural, and Mr. Davis shot him a dirty look. Mr. Davis ate lunch with them more often. He didn't join them as much, but he ate lunch with them more often. Sometimes he
They
would
finished lunch and he'd come out from under the table. That was a good lunch, guys. Bye.
Okay, we see here.
Sometimes he would stop mid-sentence, a sad look in his eyes. Misty didn't push him. They'd all lost something in the past half year.
And here God damn it, I forgot to put a period. This is supposed to be a section break, so I'm just saying.
I
for
see.
everybody.
Oh, okay.
Section break.
Attention, lightning.
Vampire Jamal yelled as streaks of bright lightning came shooting down around them.
Okay, but why is it angry?
Damien shouted in return, while behind him Ash screamed and leapt into the lightning, blades flashing. He landed, screaming like a madman. His hair stood up and out like a cartoon character's, and his swords were now shooting sparks. Somehow, his shirt had split open, revealing how ripped he was. Misty blinked twice, slowly. Hello.
Hello.
Got a bad Larry. Get out of here. Misty blinked twice, slowly. It's not like she was attracted to Ash, but damn. Did we have a Pikachu last time?
Nope.
Well,
We've been practicing, Pikachu said calmly beside her.
What, like weightlifting?
Misty replied, a little befuddled. Huh? No, with lightning. He's up to nearly 1,300 kilowatts of energy he can take without it having any permanent effects now. Ash leapt at another streak of lightning, hacking fluidly and shooting lightning flashes of his own upward. He never seemed to stop screaming.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think, Pikachu added, no real way to test something like that. Misty looked at the rat creature, and he put his cigar back in his mouth, then shrugged. Damien jumped into the midst of the fray and threw out a Gengar.
Who gave him a Gengar?
She shouted.
Don't have a Brock.
I think that was me a long time ago. I did.
Brock said, coming up behind her, his flamethrower making one hip jut out.
It was. I lost a bet.
So do I remember right that Brock's the one that never opens his eyes?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
Good note.
He turned his frying pan into a drying pan. He was a genius.
All right, Gengar.
Damien yelled.
Lick.
He and
That's a
Junko
legitimate
Enoshima-
Pokemon attack.
It is. It can cause paralysis, right?
Yes, you can cause paralysis. It is a ghost type move with, I believe, 40 base power.
By the way, Intrepid Olivia says that Jessie should get closer to the mic.
Okay.
Just in general, not for like her voice, but just, like
Just get close and personal with it.
just
it
snuggle
better?
in.
Spend some time with the mic. Get comfortable.
It's base 30 power. I'm a fraud.
Also, I just wanted to okay. So Kitty says, I love how you picked through Danganronpa names from multiple series. Yes, and only like the ones from the first series are ones that I know, so they're the only ones who get lines, basically.
Did you just copy and paste it from the fic that we read?
No.
Okay.
I did go through a list of Danganronpa characters, and then
Okay.
I picked like 20, and then I had to take out all the ones who were like fucking robots or whatever. And Spitfire says, "Is this all just an extension of that review? My life is just an extension of that review, man." So
Okay. Lick, he and Junko Enoshima began giggling. He being
Some say
Damien?
Still giggling
Yes.
to this day.
Okay.
Lick.
Gengar leapt at a fork of lightning and stuck his tongue out. It was no surprise when it collided with his tongue and Gengar made weird strangling noises mid-air. Vampire Jamal was leaping to and fro, trying desperately to sink his fangs into an attacker.
Are we hurting them at all?
Misty asked. Pikachu gave a disgusted sigh, then said, "Stand back. I got an idea."
wait,
Damien said, his face serious now.
Gengar, take one out with your Shadow Ball.
He and Junko Enoshima descended into giggles again. Gengar drew in a deep breath, but Damien quickly grabbed a Pokeball and recalled the Poison Ghost Pokemon. Pikachu stood in the midst of the lightning, closed his eyes, and raised his tiny yellow arms. He gave a howl and stretched his paws open. The lightning all came at him as if called, and he somehow entrapped it like a Ghostbusters proton pack. His cigar went red down to the base. "Quick!" Pikachu shouted, spitting out his cigar and a cloud of smoke. "Call on all your water Pokemon and tell them to water gun me." Misty quickly threw out Squirtle, Gyarados, and others. "Ready?" Pikachu yelled. Her Pokemon all nodded, or something in the vicinity of nodding. Pikachu shot lightning from his hands like he'd been supercharged by thousands of volts of sinister lightning. Immediately, Misty's water types began sending streams of water against it. The entire area filled with smoke until everyone was coughing and waving their hands.
Did we do it?
"Not yet, sir." Sorry, Star Fox reference. Misty asked between hacking up her left lung and her right.
Hey, by the way, kids at home, don't try and put out electricity with water.
Right.
It ends badly.
You know, I being a resident Pokemon expert, I do want to say that it does make sense that Pikachu would absorb the lightning because its hidden ability is actually Lightning Rod, which raises its special attack and redirects all electric type moves next to it.
There you go. Michael's good. He does his research.
He did minor research or got very lucky, one of the two.
Somewhere in
Research,
between.
I'm sure.
She saw Pikachu through the haze and he gave her a tiny thumbs up. Then he grabbed a new cigar from a fold under his fur, saw that it too was half singed, half sopping, and sighed sadly as he tossed it to the ground. Spitfire says this is all just a setup for Pikachu's fetish, isn't it?
What is
Cigar
the fetish?
And Kitty says to put out electricity, you got to throw a blanket on it. That's what you
Yeah, or just sweep it out the door with a broom.
Section
Or
break.
just like fill up the Coliseum with it and blow it up.
Yeah. That also kills at least 2 jumpers, so.
Section break. They lost Maki Hirakawa. Section break.
Oh no.
Oh,
Title says it all.
she didn't die or anything. She just
They just couldn't find
They
her.
lost her.
couldn't find her after one of these battles. She was just gone.
It was a heavy round of betting on Pokemon, and they lost her.
I believe this is Misty speaking.
Yeah.
I'd like to give special
Commendation.
Commendation.
Commendation to Makoto Nagi on that
Close
last mission for somehow managing to out-argue the leader of the...
Autochthonous.
Autochthonous golems.
Golems.
That was quite inventive.
Everyone stared at Misty, wondering what autochthonous meant.
Means it grows, it
What a
grows from the
gnomic
ground.
phrase, they thought.
Grows from the ground.
Okay.
She was wondering herself.
It's a very gnomic word that you chose there, Michael.
That word today calendar got a workout.
Everyone stared at Misty, then glanced around at each other, looking for the person she was singling out.
You!
Misty said, pointing at Makoto Naegi. Makoto Naegi pointed at himself, then pushed his glasses up on his nose in an annoyed manner.
Excuse me, have you really mistaken me for that plebeian? Why, I'll have you know that last year my father...
Okay, whatever.
I wish you were the voice of Makoto Naegi.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Wait, like in the English
In
dub.
the games.
Of the game.
It's so have you guys actually played or seen Danganronpa then?
We've seen some of the gameplay at this point, yes.
Got it. Okay, then I'll be curious to see if you get the joke that's going on here.
Let me just... From your voice, I think I know who the character is, but let me just confirm that. Oh, no, you're...
Makoto's the main character.
Makoto's the main character, so...
Right.
All right. I assumed it was the snobby guy. Oh, well.
Byakuya?
Yes. Yeah.
What was that?
Byakuya. I assumed it was Byakuya. That's who I was thinking of with that voice. But
Okay, well, I'll go
This is
into
Makoto.
Bakuya Tagami, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the joke. That's who it is. Yes.
Oh, okay. Because
But-
she's mistaking him. Okay.
Right. She can't tell them all apart, so she thinks he's Makoto Naegi.
Get off the desk. Stop
okay,
knocking
okay.
stuff around. She's being bad.
This that was a joke that I thought only I would get in here, and I figured, you know.
Okay.
Well, you
we
know
worked
what? You
through
were
it.
right.
We wor-
You did good.
Mission accomplished.
Okay. We said okay, whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Misty said she was too tired to care anymore.
Here, take your prize.
She handed him the pin she'd made up, a little gold enameled thing with a star on it surrounded by water. Not Makoto Naegi came up, glanced at it, pushed his glasses up again, and said in a snotty voice,
Is this tawdry trinket supposed to impress me? My father is a Bilderberg, you fool!
Well, mine's a Build-A-Bear.
Misty forced a smile until his verbal scolding was over, then waited patiently for him to leave the little makeshift stage at the front of the mess hall. Mr. Davis gave her a jubilant thumbs up from the crowd. Misty sighed.
Next.
Picture her thumbs dancing around, throwing confetti.
Section break. They lost Mahiro Koizumi. Section break.
Are those supposed to be titles, or are they just to do later?
Are they sections or are they titles for sections?
No, they're sections. I'm trying to show the weight of time passing here, you know?
Well, then you
Very-
need like 30 more ellipses.
Yeah, these are not just dots. They're dinguses. It had
You're a
just
dingus.
it had just made sense to Misty to use fire Pokemon on the mummies. What were they beyond just a lot of gauze, right? Well, obviously, they were super solid creatures full of malice beneath the gauze, so now they just had essentially a bunch of ward super zombies attacking.
Burn
Burn
ward.
ward.
Burn ward.
Ward
Oh,
super-
I skipped that word for some reason. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. I was like, what does it mean to be just a ward super zombie?
You know,
I
like
am
ward
Super Zombie.
Like there's ward cleaver, there's ward super zombie.
Yes, Spitfire says they're interstitials for characters who just wander off. Okay, I'm going to start that sentence over. Well,
you
obviously.
better.
Well, obviously, they were super solid creatures, but super solid creatures. They're super solid, you guys. Full of malice beneath the gauze. So now they just had essentially a bunch of burn ward super zombies attacking them. It probably wouldn't help to bring out the water Pokemon now to get rid of the few bits here and there that were still on fire, would it? No. She backed up, shooting indiscriminately, causing different creatures to jerk spasmodically, but little more than that. Out of the corner of her eye, she caught Ash systematically chopping the fingers off one of them. First one hand, then the other, then his swords flashed in tiny amounts, cubing off one tiny slice at a time. It was like watching salami being sliced at the deli, but it seemed to be working.
Unlike the deli.
That deli I went
Always.
to for research sucked. It couldn't slice any salami.
Damien and Junko Enoshima were using Gengar as a lure for the lumbering creatures. Gengar would dart beneath the legs of one of them as it turned, Damien and Junko Enoshima would take the free few seconds to shoot in controlled bursts working on removing one limb at a time. The sun crested above the battle pyramid, and the plain was shown in stark, blinding light. The battle dragged on. Dingus. They lost. Those really are dinguses. You know that, right? The
I trust you. I trust you
three
implicitly.
asterisks in the middle.
Dingai.
No, they're
fulfilling the role
dinguses
of a
because they're
dingus.
named after an old scribe, Charles Dingus, who had 3 assholes.
No, an
Dingus.
ellipsis is not called a dingus.
It's not an ellipsis. It's 3 asterisks.
It doesn't look like it on my screen.
They're
But
little-
he's using...
Right.
It's just a dot.
When I put in 3 asterisks, fanfiction deleted it. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
They, like Mikan Sumiki, were lost. Misty twined her fingers through the hair on Mr. Javis's chest as their sweat cooled in her tiny room.
Oh wow!
See, I picture all this sweat flying off like Kathy, you know. A Kathy orgasm just soaks
Ugh.
the room.
This is a Misty
What is
line.
it you're not telling me?
Larry, get out of here.
It's really living up to his name tonight, huh?
Yep. Just swiping stuff off the desk. Okay. Where were we?
She
What is it
asked
you're not
quietly.
telling me?
Okay. She asked quietly.
I can see it in your eyes when we're.
Having
He responded, grabbing the glasses and nearly putting them back on reflexively. Just grabbing the glasses and nearly putting them back on. Okay.
Well, it's Ray-Bans. What other glasses would we be talking about here? Come on.
I assumed you would have said his glasses.
Yeah.
I
Picks up
initially
two-
thought glasses
two
of
tumblers.
refreshing iced
hold
tea.
on a second. I think Mr. Davis is a cool enough guy to keep the Ray-Bans on during sex.
Wait till the end of the paragraph.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
He dropped them on the nightstand again, though.
You get so,
Or,
you get
sorry,
so
the,
used to
the end of the section, I meant to say. Sorry. Go ahead.
okay. You get so used to wearing them, you forget that when you're not, people can read your expression. I never was a great poker player.
So,
Dingus.
She prompted. It's not a
Look.
dingus, that's a Fred. Right. He responded, looking down into her eyes.
There are things that I can't tell you, sure. But that doesn't mean I don't care about you. Hell, I'm lying to my superiors about this whole experience. When those glasses are on, they can track everything I'm doing. I have to pretend to go to sleep, then sneak my way down here just to see you. Both sides have secrets.
and you're
She said, imbuing the next words with as much double meaning as possible.
right in the middle?
Mr. Davis gave a
With
soft
very
chuckle.
little double meaning, but as much as she could get.
Squeezing
honey.
out the last drop of double meaning.
Oh, honey, you are going to be the death of me.
But he pulled her back on top of him.
So
Let
now
me get
you.
this straight. When he has these glasses on, they can track him. So he pretends to be asleep and takes them off, and then takes the glasses with him.
Yes, because
Clandestine.
what if an emergency popped up? Then he would be offline for the
Yeah,
time it
but
took him to
now-
get back to his room.
Yeah, but
Okay.
now he's doing Misty with the glasses on, so they're watching the whole thing. It's no, he put them back down.
No,
Okay,
you
never
put 'em
mind.
back.
Yeah.
I-
Now, and so now, hopefully, it makes sense why in the first chapter that we read, he had a shakily written index card that said "Hit me so the glasses fly off," and he said, "I found out they were watching even when I wasn't wearing them."
Right.
Oh.
See, it's all starting to come together, right?
Yep. Dingus. They lost Angie Yanaga. Dingus.
Oh, I get it, because it's Dingus Rumpa, right?
No. Just do me a favor, look up Dingus. Look up the history of dinguses.
No,
I believe you.
All right.
This is turning into our
This
Texas
is Damien.
battle.
So, yeah. Damien.
Dingus. Oh, dirty Dingus McGee.
Oh, sorry. I was
They
explaining in the
lost.
chat here. I was yelling in the chat. Sorry. Okay. Snakes. Why does it always have to be snakes?
Sorry, just taking a moment to take in your explanation.
I thought about writing it privately over to Misha, but I was like, no, maybe everybody's curious. You know, I just
Mhm. I agree, Misha.
know what she
Damien
said.
muttered, staring up at the giant cobras, hoods flaring, their bodies half out of the ground, heads gently swaying. Are they cobras or are they Ekans?
Ekans
Or-
is not a cobra. Arbok is a
Arbok.
cobra.
Sorry.
Freaking fake Pokemon.
I'm sorry.
Who's our Brock?
Oh, yeah. Old movie quotes.
Brock responded sarcastically.
Why's it always got to be old movie quotes?
Damien scoffed.
Thumbs up
Then-
on that one, sir.
Yeah, I get that one.
Damien scoffed, then let his Gengar loose at the cobras.
Gengar, sucker punch.
Gengar approached a cobra, made a look of shock at something just behind the cobra, and when the cobra looked around in confusion, Gengar leapt up and socked the snake in the jaw.
I love that move.
Damien guffawed. Brock began flambeing the cobras, rising up on the other side of the group of teens that made up the Shadow Pokemon Corps. But like you do. Misty made her way slowly along the row of cobras, shooting slowly, thoughtfully, aiming for the eyes. Ash leapt up one, running vertically along its elongated neck, then slashing like mad at the base of its jawline until its lower jaw actually fell off. Ash hopped onto it and rode it to the ground like a glider. How big are these cobras?
Big.
Pretty big, right? Okay.
Yeah.
He
Do
leapt
they
off.
have skin, or are they made of bones that are crystal?
Right.
Well, that's going to come later, I assume.
Okay.
After he sucks up Hans or something. He leapt off, sweat and blood dripping from his jaw, a manic grin on his face. He clashed his swords together and set off for the next one.
Junko Shima!
Damien shouted. Spitfire's right. Ash is really extra in this.
He's got like a shirt that says 100% in red.
Right. And also the Pokemon are going to the sex zone. Kitty also wants clarification. Are these cobras or Arbok?
Cobras.
Okay, they're just regular.
They
cobras.
are. Things have
Except
changed,
giant.
and they aren't. Yeah, and they aren't like fighting Pokemon anymore. They're fighting creatures.
Gotcha.
Well, cobras are not that big. Why
No,
are they
these
so
are
big?
these are supernatural creatures.
Oh, okay.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I thought you weren't going to put in supernatural.
I'm curious. Which
Girl.
one of these?
Son of a. Which one of these? What?
Which one of these is the Cobra Commander?
The one that sounds like this.
Okay. Behind her, Misty heard a pained cry. She glanced back and saw that a fang from one of the cobras had apparently been shot loose and fallen, spearing Junko Enoshima. Damien ran up to her, recalling Gengar as he did so. He knelt by her side, half-heartedly continuing to shoot up towards the cobra so that it could not lean down and consume them. Junko Enoshima drew in a shuddering breath. Now, who wants to be Junko?
So just a warning with Junko, she's gonna get like, I don't know, like explicit at times. So
Which is appropriate for the character. Hey, Kitty?
She'll say it. She'll say anything.
Yeah.
Hey, Kitty, you're a disgrace.
She just shouted, "I'll do it" from the other room.
All right,
Okay.
so are we at that line?
Yep.
All right.
yep. Now you've just been speared by a giant cobra's tooth.
Oh no.
I'll
That's so
read
unlike
I'll
her.
read
Okay.
read you into it.
Okay.
Junko Enoshima drew in a shuddering breath.
You better jerk off to me for at least a month.
She wheezed. Brock moved up near them, using his flamethrower to charbroil a weak spot on the snake. It was glowing red, presumably.
I don't know.
Damien replied, grabbing
Exactly
onto one of
2 inches from the head. And
Yeah.
it seems like all the spots on a snake are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Is it-
Damien
sorry, did you-
replied,
Go
grabbing onto
yeah.
one of her
Yeah.
hands.
I think I can get a sympathy BJ from Aniga Yanaga instead.
You're such a.
She laughed, then spat up a giant gout of blood, and was still. Her hand slipped out of Damien's. Is that really it? That was her last line?
No, well, but keep in mind, we keep going farther
we keep
back,
going
right?
back. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, did we give Kitty another character who had 2 lines and
That's
then
the only type of
disappeared?
character I get.
Sorry, that's it for this chapter. Yeah,
One
but
thing and
as
then
we go
die.
back,
Okay. Her hand slipped out of Damien's. Damien began to sob quietly. The sound of the flamethrower returned to a hiss of blue flame.
Brock,
Damien asked.
Yeah, man.
if you want to get second place, there's still a little time to get on up in there before it's cold.
Wow.
Is that what I think you're saying?
Do we need you to spell it out in chat again?
In the middle, I get it now.
Yeah. He stopped his fake sobbing, and a familiar wry grin returned to his face. Brock just stared at him. The head of the seared snake landed with a dull splat beside them.
You son of a bitch.
Brock said, "You old so-and-so," and turned away to start in on the next adversary. Damien chuckled a little more, then shrugged, reloaded his pistol, and returned to the fight. They lost to Connie a while.
Oh.
Okay. As I was reading all of those, I was thinking like, okay, that's good. Next time we list a whole bunch of names, I won't have to list at least these 6 or whatever. But since we're going back in time,
right,
we're actually
right.
gaining
List
names.
will get longer.
You son of a bitch. Okay, we've only got 20 minutes left. So it's either Miradero or Steve Blank. Four times.
I mean, I feel like we can't hold off on Steve Plank, can we? I don't know. I mean, is it? Do we think it's how long is the chapter 1?
It is like 5.5 pages in a Google Doc because I just created my account on fanfiction.net today, and they won't let you upload for 12 hours after you do it.
Right.
Because that is the most used website. Oh, it's 5.5. Yeah.
Larry.
So
She's just all up in our business tonight.
So what's our pace per page?
I have no idea. I'm thinking it's too long for 20 minutes.
it's probably too long. We'll have to.
Yeah.
It'll give me time to write a chapter 2 for next week.
All right.
Do we
I am
have
sad.
Any art to put up on Frame Phrase Store, whatever?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
All right. Well,
And just for reference, this is
Yep.
Byakuya Tagami, who Misty mistakenly called Makoto. Okay,
Yeah, that
so
was classic.
Oh, and
Yeah,
I'll be able to upload it to
I don't know
fanfiction.
most of these characters, so it's all.
Lovely.
yeah. It's that's fine. It's everything in this is an in joke, really. So
okay.
Especially
Okay.
that necrophilia
This is
pit.
actually my favorite show ever, and I don't appreciate you talking about it like that.
Wait, what is Spirit
Pokemon.
Riding Free
Danganronpa.
or Danganronpa?
Of course.
Supernatural.
That last necrophilia bit though, that actually is in Danganronpa, specifically
Is
for
it?
Junko. So I was like, well, how much do you know about Danganronpa? Because you basically directly referenced it.
well, I mean, like without spoilers, I know what Junko's part in the whole plot is, but I don't remember I don't remember the necrophilia joke, but that makes
joke.
sense that she. Yeah, but that makes sense that she would make it,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
somebody. or somebody close to her would make it at some
You just
point.
locked onto the character so well that you knew exactly what she would say.
I just channel these characters, man. You know?
Okay, so Miradero
so
Mystery, Chapter 6. Have faith, Grayson's move.
Everyone in town is working together to fix up the church after that huge rainstorm had hit. Not to mention that Snips and Senior Carrots made a mess of the inside, even though donkeys aren't allowed in the church.
They belong in the mission across the way.
They're Methodists.
They can join the church, but they can't be priests.
All right,
You can
I
lead a donkey to church, but it's not allowed inside.
I believe I was Abigail, so let me.
All right.
I can't believe Snips did it again.
Abigail whined she was mad at her brother.
This is why the mayor put up that sign.
Prue added in.
Hold on a minute. We've got 2 Prues now.
No, I was always Prue because
Prue was the original.
I think I
mean,
was.
You
Drew was the
abandoned your
original.
post, Drew.
That's true. I missed a week. I did miss a week.
Drew, it's true. You abandoned Prue.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Prue added in.
There's a new Prue in town.
It's the new Prue review coming right at you. Lucky told Libby about what had happened the first time Snips had brought Senior Carrots into the church, and Libby laughed at that.
I was Libby, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't have been that. It. Right. It couldn't have been that bad this time around.
Libby told them.
I assume that
What's
was a
that?
scene in the show, maybe?
Right, probably, yeah. Or maybe earlier in this writer's
Bring.
Oeuvre.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I don't remember Snips defiling a church.
Season 3, episode 7. Snips and Senior Carrots defile a church. Senior Carrots, you pooped on Jesus. Libby told them. The 4 looked inside the church.
Or maybe it is.
Libby said with a sigh. All of the pews were turned over because Senior Carrots had kicked them as Snips had been chasing him around and there was mud everywhere. The adults were in charge of fixing up the roof, so the kids were to clean up the inside.
Okay, wait. Everyone was working together to fix up the church after that huge rainstorm hit. Not to mention that Snips and Senior Carrots made a mess of the inside, even though, okay, so they did get in. And before they entered the church, someone told them a story about the last time that they defiled the church.
Right.
And it is as bad as that.
Yes!
Okay.
Now we have an accurate
I'm
measure
all
of
caught
how
up.
bad it is.
Did you read the adults?
Drew, you're Prue.
Where?
Oh, again? I thought I got fired. Hold on.
No, you're Prue again.
Let's get to it.
Prue said, with a smile, the girls started to clean. Once the mud was cleaned up, Turo helped put the pews back to their right-up positions before covering them with white sheets so they could paint.
Upright
mayor-
positions.
What's that?
Upright.
Yes. What did I say?
You said
Right
right
up.
up.
Right up.
I was
I had to write you
Straight
up
up
for that.
positions.
I was thrown off by the there, I think. The mayor had asked the kids to repaint the walls of the church, but Snips wasn't allowed to help, so Abigail took her little brother back to their parents. Oh, Snips is a child? I thought Snips was another donkey.
Yeah, that's what I assumed.
No,
All-
Snips is the worst little kid.
Does Snips ride Senior Carrots?
Yes.
Okay, good. It all makes sense then. All the kids had fun painting the church walls, but Maricela didn't help paint since she claimed that she was supervising for her father, the mayor.
So I see him
Everything's
roller
done.
painting over Echo Homo.
Lucky said,
Everything's done.
Lucky said, happily. The only thing left to do was let the paint dry.
What now?
Libby asked her friends. They thought for a second. Oh, this is Jim.
I was probably Jim. Kids, time for some fun.
Jim called out. All the kids were confused.
It's Prue.
I said, what kind of fun, Mr. Prescott?
That's Prue asked. Prue asked shakily, remembering the last time he had some fun for them. Prue asked him. Jim smiled brightly at the kids. Jim explained that everyone was celebrating on a job well done for fixing the church, so it was like everyone was getting ready for one huge party.
But it wasn't that. It was like that.
It was the rapture.
It was a pale imitation.
Do we have a snooty Maricela?
Wasn't that me?
Yeah, okay, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That means we'll need entertainment.
Maricela said smugly. Prue was started to get mad.
What are you gonna do? Sing about yourself?
Prue asked her. Oh wait, no, that actually works. Prue asked her.
What not a song that's spiritual?
Libby asked them. Maricela and Prue looked at her.
Oh, that's supposed to be
spiritual.
like, what? Not a song that's spiritual?
A spiritual song about what?
Abigail asked Libby. She smiled.
Wait until everyone gets back and I'll show you.
Libby replied vaguely. Her friends and Maricela decided to wait for everyone to come back to the church. Once everyone was back, Libby went over to the mayor and whispered something to him.
They had Pastor Bruce call everybody up at home. I need you to come back to the church.
They sent it down the prayer
Forming a
chain.
small group to listen to Libby's song.
What is she doing?
Sorry, I just was reading what turned out to be a very much longer than I thought it would be. Maricela asked Prue. She shrugged in reply. The mayor got everyone's attention and told them that Libby wanted to sing for them. Maricela was about to say something, then remembered what Libby said.
Is this Marcella?
This song is all about what we learn from the Bible and our Lord in heaven.
Libby told everyone. Her friends, they understood what she meant by spiritual. Now we play the Superbook full theme song?
The Superbook.
The understood. Ah, yes, I the understood.
That's one of those sports betting things, right?
What, the understood?
No, the Superbook.
Oh, right. Okay,
The
so
hell is the Superbook?
Superbook.
Oh,
Spitfire says apparently some kind of Bible anime from the 80s. So I think that might be a different thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm remembering. Yeah.
The picture in the top looks like the mascot from that moving truck.
Yeah, a little bit. Let me see if this has a theme song.
Back to the Superbook show.
Crossovers, that's what the fanfic is for.
I've been trying consciously to tell people more often that I care about them. Wow, that's so nice. Thanks, Alithia. I just wanted to let you know that our friendship is priceless.
Yeah.
Excuse me? What?
Bitch?
Our friendship is priceless?
Should we start
How could
voicing
you say
this?
that? I thought we were good friends. We are.
That looked
I
like
just said that.
bitch.
Oh, there's a Quinn on Superbook.
Oh, I didn't
they're
know I
learning
was.
grammar. Good
Okay.
for them.
Well, that makes sense with Superbook, I guess. Superbook Bible stories, maybe.
What
I don't know.
other
Here's one that at
Superbook
least seems to have
ones?
some of the right lyrics.
Okay. Superbook Jonah, season 2, episode 1.
Okay, that's looking like what I'd seen.
Oh god. Oh no. That's right.
Do we get a
I
theme?
see. We looked the stuff up and we stopped.
Jonah.
Huh?
Look up. Did you look up Superbook theme song?
This
I
this is
guess.
so like I say, this link that I posted seems to have some of the same lyrics.
Okay.
Let's see. How does it start out though? It's the word for all time. Holy Jesus, this thing is insane. I don't know.
They
It
have the
seems
same
like
icon. Those things are linked. They're part of the same.
It's like a live action section.
yeah. See in the
Let's find out.
in
There you
in
go.
the
What's the first?
in what's in the fanfic, it says Hosanna sing Hosanna, the word superbook, and that's in this, but it looks like some of it's different. Very weird.
I'm not hearing that on Twitch.
No, you got to kind of undelete over on. Oh, I'm hearing it on Twitch.
Yeah. It's. I hope it's not blasting everyone,
It's kind of
but
loud for me.
yeah, it's loud for us. I can
Okay.
turn it down here and turn it up here. Okay.
Looks like they're doing some kind of Maori war dance.
Okay, so this you and I just imagine that part. That's what's in the fanfic.
Okay, so that's like where it starts in the thing.
Yeah, this verse basically.
This is what Libby is singing. Just imagine.
Yeah.
What's better choreography than Head and Shoulders and Toes?
How dare you? First off.
Special thanks to Gildan for the uniform. Okay,
The
enough of
ritual
that.
grave.
So, well, I'm sure she's in charge.
Oh my god.
This is a religion.
Oh my god. Okay, I think we can probably.
Oh yeah, pull the plug.
I love that the instrumentation there is so like aggressive, like almost
It was the rapture. That was what we needed for Reba.
Yeah.
like if I hear the melody, Hosanna, sing Hosanna, like that's a fun, like catchy, like Bible school thing. But then like the chords behind it are so like almost threatening.
Yes, we're going to war.
We'll have to take your word for it, I guess.
So Olivia,
also the kid in the middle. Can you go back just a little bit and just he absolutely lost the choreography completely. The kid in the blue shirt in the very center.
Well, he's lost. He doesn't know where he is. He was thrust into
they
he was
start
blasted
before
into
he
this
does.
world.
right? Because he just got exploded, and now he's
Oh, okay.
yeah. He's like, all right,
He
fuck
just
it.
suddenly found himself.
Right,
he
I guess
found
heaven's
himself at the park with the lame kids.
Yeah, I guess heaven's a flash mob. All right, I'll do my best here.
I guess at some point they all get the same silver haircut and their eyes glow. If I remember right.
So Olivia, our theory on this is that it's like some poor person writing this, some sad, alone poor person who like doesn't have access to the best movies because it's like, a theme from like Frozen 2 or whatever.
Right.
So
which was in her defense, that one was shown in theaters.
Sure.
Frozen 2 isn't that bad.
Well, no, but I mean, like,
It's
it's
okay.
most of it's been like either TV shows or sequels.
Direct to
things.
DVD sequels. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so I'm guessing that it's probably this poor like abused, lonely person who's been raised in an overly religious household, and
Sitting
so
right here, Jesus.
Also, they're on the spectrum. Let's not forget that.
No,
That was
not
a
this
different
person.
fic.
That was
a
the other
different
one.
fic.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Though
they
that
could
doesn't-
be, but it's
That
not
doesn't that
confirmed.
doesn't roll it out, but we don't know it. Okay. At the end of the song, everyone looked at Libby before applauding and cheering for her.
Were they looking at something? They were all looking at their phones before.
Yeah.
Oh, it's over, guys.
Oh,
Look.
that song slaps. a
Wait, so
cappella.
she wanted
I'm
to
sure
sing a
it's great, but
spiritual
no
song,
backing.
and she sang Superbook like
Yeah.
over
Yeah,
and over.
I know. I know.
The theme song.
This is an old hymn, I know.
All
Okay.
right, Tristan, you're Libby. Come on. We're going to
Thank
knock this
you.
sucker home if it kills us. Libby said with a bow. Her friends ran up and hugged her.
That was beautiful.
Abigail said with a cheerful smile. Libby thanked her before looking at Maricela.
That was impressive.
Maricela admitted. Libby smiled.
The way you blasted in some other kids to do choreography with you.
Can you just imagine if like one of your friends was like, "Let me sing you a song." Superbook.
Hosanna, Hosanna.
I
Oh
don't
my
know.
God,
Probably
next line is
Tristan and
Blather.
Gracie have been in that situation. So
Prue, please.
Prue, we gotta. Where's Prue?
Prue.
I'm sorry. I was just
You have
thinking
the
about
best
that
line.
song. You were right. That song was spiritual-ish.
Prue told Libby. Prue told Libby. The girls laughed. However, the laughter stopped as something whizzed past Libby's head, making it bleed.
Well, that, that's how
a ninja star.
What was that?
Lucky asked.
The Lord is protecting us.
Lucky asked
Larry,
in
oh my
worry.
God, Larry.
She and Abigail held Libby up so she wouldn't fall over.
I believe I was Grayson, correct?
Oh,
I
yeah,
remember-
Grayson was like the rustler or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had
And I-
issues
I-
with his rope.
Yeah.
Spitfire says Steve Blank's here and he's pissed.
All right.
Yeah.
Damn it. Steve Plank is diametrically opposed to this. I said I'd get back at that brat.
Grayson's voice rang out in anger. Everyone turned to where Grayson was standing and saw that he had a gun.
This Prue.
Prue. It's Prue.
Prue.
I just said leave Libby alone,
Oh,
Grayson.
sorry.
Oh,
You-
sorry,
you keep
it must
getting
have
It
cut
flipped.
dropped out. I
Dropped
guess.
out.
Sorry.
Prue shouted in anger, but the man smiled cruelly at her.
Not a chance.
Grayson replied evilly. He held the gun so it was aiming at the pals, and before he shot them,
Uh-oh.
Libby pushed them out of the way, taking the shot.
Down, Mr. President, then.
Oh my God, this is gonna replace Libby with Lucky so that they can still be pals. That's what's going on here, right? Jesus.
Oh. There you go.
The pals shouted in fear and worry. The bullet hit Libby near her heart. Everyone watched as Libby screamed in pain, then, like in slow motion, hit the ground.
This is such a dark ass turn.
We have Superbook than this.
Hosanna, sing Hosanna.
Oh, literally.
Kate, Cora, and the pals surrounded Libby while Al... At first I thought that was AI. While the AI, Jim and the sheriff,
Yelling
took
like
care
Tommy
of Grace.
Wiseau on the roof, and they're like, "No, Tommy, you don't laugh at this. It's a little girl dying," and you're like,
What a story, Mark.
While AI, Jim, and the sheriff took care of Grayson, the other adults kept the other kids away from the painful scene. The town's doctor rushed to Libby's side and made sure that none of the younger kids were watching as he undid Libby's shirt and removed the bullet carefully. Wow, this is a really good old Western doctor. Damn.
Is he just like using his fingers to pry the bullet?
Yeah. Okay,
Bite
give her
on
a
this
shot of
stick,
whiskey
young
and a
missy.
bullet to bite. And dig
The doctor cleaned, then bandaged the injuries, but wasn't sure if Libby was going to make it.
Sorry, the Spitfire said the story's rated K. Interpret Olivia K for carnage. K for kids die in this.
K for Christ, man.
Have faith.
Libby said, weakly. Everyone was crying for her. Just then, Spirit, Chica Linda, Boomerang, Storm Dancer, and the Wild Herd showed up.
And the entire horde,
They're still in the church, right?
But they didn't let
horse
Senior
get in the
Carrots in, did
hospital?
they?
Horses are allowed in the church. Senior
Oh,
Carrot
just-
Donkey, he's not allowed.
Oh, it's just Senior Carrots is not allowed in, I see.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's outside real sad that he can't offer some moral support.
Horses go on God's right and donkeys on his left.
Horses go to heaven, donkeys go to hell.
Okay, now
That's what I
we
was
need an
waiting for.
AI or Al.
Yeah, who was I? Was I not Al earlier? Who was that? Was that Steve? or
Was
something?
I not Al?
Was I not Al?
Call me Al.
Is Al the dad?
Okay.
No,
Al is,
whatever.
I believe, Prue's father.
Okay. What are they doing there? What are they doing here? Oh, the horses. Right. That's the obvious question to ask. What are they doing here?
AI asked Prue. She didn't know the answer. Smoke went up to Libby and nudged her.
Is this Smoke speaking? Oh, I was Jim earlier.
It's Jim.
Whatever. I'll just be both of them. What is he doing? What's
Jim,
going on? What?
Jim
All these
asked
horses
in
suddenly.
Oh, there's nothing in the rule books that says a horse can't go to church. Jim asked in confusion. Everyone watched as Smoke tried to get Libby on his back with Sherry's help.
They want
How?
to help.
They push their noses together under it and like throw her in the air. They miss a couple times.
Yeah.
No, look, they have full medical doctorate degrees, but they got them in Mexico, and so they have to go through all the bullshit steps again here in the U.S., and it's going to take them like 9 years, but really they can... Maybe not. Lucky said, in realization, she was right because the other horses tried to help.
But what can they do?
Maricela asked in worry. She was scared. The pals went to help.
Pray.
The
Smoke
pals
is finished scrubbing up.
Clear. The pals went to help get Libby up just as her pendant started to glow brightly.
Follow this path. It will lead the way.
The mysterious voice told them they listened. Everyone followed all the horses since they knew where to go in order to help Libby.
We can do it.
Prue said, in determination. The townspeople were ready to go, so were ready to help. The pals had to make sure.
Sorry, I have to interrupt because Interpreting Olivia just subscribed. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Woo!
Yeah.
Yahoo!
Two dogs.
Didn't want to make it a
team.
big thing. Well, too bad.
The pals
All right,
had to
let's
make sure that Libby stayed awake, so they told her stories about their adventures, and she listened to each one carefully with a soft, sweet smile.
Anyone gonna set up an IV drip of blood for her or something? I mean,
No,
she's been
she
shot.
must
And
have
they're
that.
no, they're infusing it from one of the horses.
Oh, okay. He's sublimating it through the horse's skin. Okay, that makes sense.
Smoke's got a like an IV stuck in it right in his leg, and he's just over there like starting to get woozy, but you know he's holding in there.
Someone get Smoke some orange juice.
She'll
Libby's-
double her running speed, but she'll have to file down her teeth once a year or so.
Libby's pendant showed the horses the way, and everyone followed them to help keep Libby awake as they prayed for the young girl to make it through the night. Prue, Abigail, lucky even Maricela knew that Libby was stubborn and tough, so she'd fight for her life in order to stay with everyone and make more happy memories. Uh-oh, Libby's in trouble. Will she survive the injury from Grayson?
Why is God forsaken her?
Find out.
Will she survive the shot to the goddamn heart? Find out.
Next to the heart, the
Near.
lung.
I don't own the Superbook theme song. Please review and no flames.
Oh my god. All right.
See if
Superbook LLC says. Please
See
cease
if-
and desist.
See if we had just skipped to this chapter, Tracy, we wouldn't have the emotional connection that we have with all the characters here. So
It is
Exactly.
a sharper turn. Okay, we looked up the Superbook thing, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, we need to stop reading because this is going to go somewhere." We had no idea she gets shot immediately.
I mean, that seems like the next logical
Yeah.
step if someone sings that at you.
Grayson was
Wow.
like, "You're not showing Veggie Tales, you sons of bitches."
Oh my god. Okay. Well,
What
you
does
were
this
right.
pendant do? I don't remember.
It's
This
the
pendant?
mysterious pendant she found on the ground, and a voice keeps speaking to her from it.
Okay.
My theory is that it's the author speaking to her.
Yeah.
My theory is that it's Grayson.
Well, the next chapter is called "Mysterious Voice Revealed."
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I like that this chapter was called "Have Faith, Grayson's Move."
Yeah. Okay.
It
well,
sounds like an anime that they frustratingly refuse to really localize.
Oh, is this an episode of The Queen's Gambit that I've been hearing so much about?
Spitfire says, "I think the mysterious voice should have been like, hey, stop your friend from getting shot."
That's a pretty half-assed mysterious voice, gotta say.
Yeah, what kind of like why didn't the pendant say go 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 like in
Right.
Paycheck?
Right.
Go.
Go.
She could have avoided the
Hey.
bullet, just like him.
Wow.
Well,
Makes you think.
we learned a lot today. Can't wait to come back to this next week, and we'll also have a little bit of Steve Plank backstory for you.
Oh, of course.
So that'll be exciting. Next Sunday, the 17th, we're going to be streaming QuipTrack's riff of Last Airbender, the M. Night Shyamalan movie. It's going to be horrendous and hilarious.
It's a good one.
Horrendarious.
Intrepid Olivia is really looking forward to finding out Steve Plank's views on God. I hope we get to see how they developed.
Oh, you will get to see how they
Oh,
develop.
good.
Tight.
Now, okay, but I have to insist that if we're going to engage in such speculation, that it would be better for us all to write "Steve Plank is dead" on a piece of paper and pass it this way.
Right. Right.
So
And I would like you all to write "Antifa was the rioters" on a piece of paper.
So the
I
way
think go ahead.
writing this was I didn't do anything fancy like using a text generator. I just wrote out.
Dingus.
I wrote out a basic story line that I thought would be okay, and then I left blanks in there and had a friend Mad Libs them in. So a lot of
Right.
the weird parts are fantastically weird.
Gotcha.
After we read the first chapter of Steve Plank's origin story, then we're going to break up into smaller groups to discuss it. And then after that, we're going to break up into even smaller groups.
Right.
We're splitting atoms.
To discuss what we've discussed in our larger group.
Yeah.
Until we're just all alone, not hearing anyone else on the stream, staring at the screen sadly.
Then you're on your own to reach nirvana.
Okay. So yeah, come back on Sunday, come back next Tuesday, and remember it all going according to plan. And see who's on that we can raid. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Good night.
Good night, everybody.